Hi everyone, Mike here, and this time I'll be showing you how to magnetize a miniature using the Onager Dunecrawler from 40k as my example. Magnetizing is a cool way to give you both posability and customization options for your miniatures. The Onager, for instance, has 4 different weapon configurations. I'll be magnetizing this one for 2 different weapon configs. The first one is the anti-vehicle configuration with a neutron laser, and the second is the anti-air config with the Icarus array. Now, none of this would be necessary if GW just gave a few more of these detachable rotors in the box, but alas, there is only one. The magnets I'll be using in this demo are these 2mm by 3mm magnets from Green Stuff World, though a lot of hobby shops have these in stock. In order to set the magnets in place, I'm using 2 hobby drills, one from Citadel to create the starter holes, and then a cheap Dollarama hand drill. The bit is a detachable 1/8 inch or 3.1mm drill bit. So here I have the missile bay part of the Icarus array, and I've already glued one of the magnets inside of it. There happens to be a piece of sprue that's attached on the inside that the magnet fits perfectly into. As you can see, it sits perfectly flush with the surrounding plastic, so don't cut this off. Now, regardless of the other pieces you attach to the rotor, all of them are going to have this little hubcap on the end. I noticed at the bottom of the hubcap that there's a small round indent, and it looks like it's exactly the same size as these round bits all around the sprue, so I'm going to cut one of them off. So here's the bit I cut off, and here is the little round indent. And sure enough, it fits in there perfectly, so this is going to serve as the post that I use to attach the magnet to. I'm going to glue that down and then set it aside to dry. Next, I've made the post that I'll use for the rotor. This will hold the magnet that the missile bay and the hubcap will both be attaching to. I've taken 2 pieces of plastic sprue and glued them together to make a thicker rod, then I drilled a guide hole down the middle. Then I'm making a 1/8 inch hole that's going to seat the next magnet. It's very important at this point that I make sure the magnet is facing the correct way, or my pieces will go flying instead of attaching. When placing the magnet into the hubcap, make sure the magnet is oriented the same way as it is in the missile bay. Since the magnet in the missile bay is completely flush with the surrounding plastic, I'm going to do the same thing with the magnet in the hubcap. I want to make sure that this plastic post doesn't break away or split in half while I'm drilling it, so I'm doing successively larger holes so that I don't have to apply too much stress at once with the drill. As I go, I'm testing once in a while with a magnet to see if it's sitting where I want it. Once it's flush with the surrounding raised lip of plastic, I'll stop drilling. Now I want to make sure the magnet alignment is the same as it is on the missile bay. I'm sticking the magnets together and then marking the side that's stuck. Then I'll glue this magnet onto the post in the hubcap marked side down. Next, I'm doing the post inside the rotor. I haven't yet cut this post to size. I'm going to do that after I have the magnet in place. I'm once again testing the magnet to make sure they are oriented correctly and marking the face of the magnet. This time, however, I'm gluing the magnet in the post marked side up. Now I'm going to resize this post so that it fits with the 2 attachments. I've marked off roughly where I need to cut, but I'm cutting it a bit big on purpose so I can slowly resize the post. I want to make sure it sits perfectly. I'm using the hubcap to see how much needs to be trimmed off. Then it's just a bit of trial and error, cutting off a bit of the excess at a time until the hubcap sits neatly in place. Once I have it where I want it, I'm gluing this down with some super glue. I'm using a bit of white tack on a toothpick to get this in place, dead center, then setting it aside. Next, I want to determine the location of the magnet for the gun barrels. You could do this in a few ways, but I'll show you what I did. First, I took the barrel for the neutron laser, dry fitted it, and then marked through the hole with an acrylic pen. When I glue the magnet to the gun barrel, I'll put it right over that same hole. Next, I want to make sure that all the magnets for the other gun barrels line up with the rotor magnet. So I'm marking the dot I just drew with a dab of black paint. Then I'm going to press any other gun barrels on so they get marked in the inside, and I'll glue the magnets in those spots. I'm pressing the magnets down all the way into this groove for each gun. That way I know the magnet attached to each gun barrel is at the same height. But I needed to trim the inside a bit to get it all the way down. Now that all the gun barrels have magnets at the right depth, I just need to size one of them to the rotor. Once again, I'm drilling successively larger holes to get the magnet to the right depth. Now it's just a matter of trial and error, fitting and refitting this gun barrel to the rotor until it sits flush. So there you have it, a little complicated, but like anything in this hobby, it just takes a bit of patience. An added bonus, other than being able to equip a vehicle with multiple weapons, is now you get that very satisfying click when they attach. This is also useful for having units with multiple bases, like I did with UR-025. He's got a Blackstone Fortress base and a Battlefield base. It's also great for rotating turrets on tanks, so hopefully this was helpful for anyone who has never magnetized and wanted to see it done. Thank you to all my patrons for supporting these videos. It certainly gives me the means to branch out and try new things. Also a big thanks to Brian Jones for sponsoring the channel. Feel free to leave any questions or comments below, and thanks for watching.